Good morning, Julie McFarlane here, and today I just wanted to talk a little bit about eliminating the stress of tax time for small business owners and a couple of strategies that we can implement to make sure that we aren't having extra stress that we don't need at tax time. So there's a couple of different taxes, not just talking about income tax, but for small business owners, we also have payroll remittances that we have to make if we have employees. We have sales taxes that have to be remitted. And also if you live in Canada like I do, there's the GST tax. So when you combine all those taxes together, if we haven't prepared and planned a strategy for saving for paying those bills at tax time, it can be quite stressful and cause some serious cash flow issues when that time comes. And so here's a couple of things that I recommend for my clients, just so that we can alleviate that and not have that burden hanging over our heads. So in regards to income tax, what I suggest is that at the end of the month when you're doing your financial statements, is just take a look at the net profit that you made for that month and take a minimum of 15% of that net amount and put it in a separate bank account. So that bank account, it's a good idea to have it one that is not associated with a debit card or any way of taking funds out electronically, just so you can avoid the temptation of dipping into that money should you need it or things get tight. So just set that account aside and put the money aside every month, and when tax time comes, the money will be sitting there readily available for you. And the other taxes, payroll taxes, sales taxes, and GST, those are remitted on a different basis for every company, but typically sales tax and payroll is remitted on a monthly basis, and then GST typically for most companies is on a quarterly basis. So again, if you haven't planned for that, it can cause a big cash flow crunch and some stress. So let's get rid of that. What I recommend, the first thing is that you treat that money as not being yours. And this is something that quite often I see business owners struggling with, because when it comes in and it's collected, just consider that it's part of yours. But really, in essence, what we're doing is, actually not in essence, what we're actually doing is collecting that money in trust for the government. So it's really not ours. So I suggest just treating it that way right from the get-go. So the moment that you take off those taxes from your employee paychecks, take that amount of money plus your portion of it and put it in that separate bank account as well. Same thing goes with the sales taxes. The minute your customer pays the invoice and you make a deposit, just take the taxes off, the GST, PST, and take those amounts and put them in that separate account as well, so that they're sitting there ready and waiting. Usually what happens is you have a little bit of extra at the end of the year and you can always use that for something, but you know for sure that you have the money sitting there and waiting for you. So that's a big thing. A lot of people think that because of these separate accounts, they don't have to be the same account. You can just use one account for all your savings and just transfer the taxes over there each and every time. So that's just a couple of little things to put in mind and put into use. And I think you'll find, if you do that and have the money readily available, that you will find it a lot less stressful when it comes to pay those bills. And one thing about income tax, it's not going anywhere, so let's prepare. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.